Shields up, Ironbreakers, and welcome back to Monster Hunter Wilds. In this video, I'm going to be bringing you my crash course on how to play the Insect Glaive based on my experience with it in the beta so far. Once the final version of the game releases, I'll be sure to make a more complete guide for this weapon, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon and all of that jazz. But for now, this video should be enough to help you get started with the weapon. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about the Insect Glaive. So the way that this weapon works is you're going to be expected to collect extracts from the monsters you are fighting. There's going to be 4 different types of extracts, but in reality we really only care about 3 of them. The colors of the extracts that you can get from the monsters are going to be red, white, orange, and green. The green extract is usually collected from the tail of the monsters, and that is going to give you a slight heal on your character. But the other extracts are way more important, and they actually remain as buffs on your character. So if you look to the top left-hand side, you'll see that we have a little gauge with a beetle icon, a little stamina gauge in the middle, and then 3 extracts, 1, 2, and 3. Number 1 is going to be the red extract, which we can actually extract from this barrel. Number 2 is going to be the white extract, and number 3 is going to be the orange extract. And those I'm only going to be able to show you when we actually fight a monster, because in this tutorial area, I only really have access to the red extract. But the things that change are as following. The red extract increases your damage and allows you to charge your Insect Glaive with the circle attack or the B button, and we can't really do that now. See, if I press circle or B or whatever key you have for your secondary attack, I can't really hold it down because it just does a regular attack. Once we get the red extract, we'll be able to charge this attack, and that is going to open up quite a bit of our weapon. When you get the white extract, you're going to be able to move faster and jump higher, because this weapon does allow you to jump into the air. I'll get more into the controls of how all that stuff works a little bit further ahead in the video, but you'll be able to move faster and jump higher. Once you get the orange extract, you're going to get the flinch-free skill. Now the thing is, these extracts work better when paired together, so if you get the red extract and the white extract, that's going to buff your attack a little bit more. If you get the white extract and the orange extract, that's also going to, I think, give you a little bit more defense beyond you already getting flinch-free. And if you get all 3 extracts, your moveset actually upgrades. See, because right now, if we do the basic attacks that you guys can see here, like this is my triangle attack or the Y button attack, it's your most basic attack. You have this moveset, but you're going to unlock a better moveset once you get all 3 extracts, as you guys will see once we go to fight the Chotacabra. This also includes the circle attacks as well. Sorry, my voice is a little bit shot, so you might hear me clear my throat quite a few times. But, yeah, now beyond that, these basic attacks are not super important. The most important thing is that you want to know how to collect your extracts. And the way that you collect your extracts is going to be by launching your Kinsect. And the way that you do that is you hold down the R2 or the right trigger button, and that is going to give you this little aiming. Now, don't confuse this with your left trigger, because that also gives you an aiming, which is focus mode, but I'm talking about the red trigger. And you'll notice that the right trigger is going to also show you whenever you hover over something that can give you an extract. It will show you which extract it gives. So this barrel gives us red extract. Now the way that you launch your Kinsect is you're going to press the triangle or Y button while you are pressing the right trigger. Now your insect gets launched, and don't be discouraged by the very low speed of beta Kinsects, because usually these are very low speed Kinsects. This is low level. Once you actually get to the higher levels, the Kinsects get way faster and the weapon starts feeling a lot better. So basically, Insect Glaive is one of those weapons that usually feels a little bit rough around the edges in beta, but even more so this time around. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to make a video dedicated to the Insect Glaive and some of the problems that I think that the weapon has in this beta that I really feel like they need to be improved on, but for this tutorial, it's not super relevant. But this is just to say that if you're struggling and you used to be an Insect Glaive main, trust me, you're not alone, okay? Now, continuing onward. So you shoot out your Kinsect by pressing right trigger and triangle or Y, and then you recall it by pressing right trigger and circle or B, and the Kinsect flies back to you. So the idea is you shoot the Kinsect at something that has an extract, and then you call it back, and it gives you the extract. Now that we have the red extract, like I told you, we can charge our circle button attack. You'll notice that it starts glowing until you get that little full glowing mode. Then you release that, it's going to do a really cool attack. Once you get all 3 extracts, the animation of this attack actually changes and it becomes even more powerful than it is right now. But this is enough to give you guys an idea of what to expect from, charging your attack, right? The other thing that you can do with this charged attack is if you jump, which jumping is your right trigger and X, your character does this. If you go ahead and you hold down the attack and you charge in the air, it's a little bit tricky. You're going to be able to do that. And that right there is basically a stronger attack that you can do, which used to be called the Diving Wyvern. Now it's called the Descending Thrust, I think. And it deals a decent chunk of damage, and it also finishes with the R2 attack that you get for your Kinsect, which is an attack that basically marks the monster for you to for your Kinsect to attack. So if you actually just press down on the right trigger, you're going to do this. That is going to mark the monster with a pheromone, and you can see that our Kinsect is now going to be out and about, just basically constantly attacking the monster. And that is also going to cause it to create these little dust things that when you explode, they're going to deal damage. But not just damage. These specific dusts of this Kinsect are going to be poisonous. The other Kinsect that you have available in the beta actually leaves behind a little cloud that when you detonate it, it heals you, which is also pretty cool. But basically he's going to stay in there and he's going to keep attacking it until he runs out of stamina, which you can see in the gauge in the top left-hand side. If you sheath your weapon, your Kinsect comes back to you, or you can also recall your Kinsect after deploying this by pressing right trigger and circle, and your Kinsect comes back. Whenever your Kinsect comes back, he always gives you back whatever extracts he happens to have collected. As you can see, we can collect 2 extracts on Kinsects this time around, because if you notice, once we shoot it like this, you'll notice that only one of the things popped up on the top there, on the top left-hand side. Only one of his little wings had an extract, which was red, so that means that if the monster you're attacking can give you more than just red, you can go like, okay, attack here, and now attack here, and you'll be able to get like 2 different extracts, and then when he returns, he gives you more extracts. However, an even more important thing to do with Kinsects is you can charge your Kinsect, and he will pierce through the monster, and he can collect up to 3 extracts. So if you aim the Kinsect just right, you might be able to get all the 3 extracts in one go. Traditionally, red extract is in the head, white extract is like on one of its members, like his hands or something like that, and the orange extract is going to be on its belly. But like I said, if you aim with the right trigger, you'll be able to see which extract you're going to be getting from the monster that you're looking at, so you'll be able to see where you get each of these things. But anyways, the way that you charge a Kinsect is you hold down the right trigger, and then you hold down triangle or Y, and you'll notice that you get that little glowing on your bug stick, and then you just release that, and he's going to go like a drill and attack. Now, one of the things that I noticed in this beta is that for whatever reason, the Kinsect has a tendency whenever you charge it to just fly straight to the moon, despite the fact that you're aiming dead front. Notice how he goes a little bit higher than what we've thrown him. So one of the things that you'll notice, particularly if you're aiming at like a monster's head, a lot of times it will just like shoot right over the head. So at least during the beta, I'm not sure if this is going to be the case for the final version, but during the beta, whenever you are charging your Kinsect, make sure to aim your camera lower. And that will ensure that your Kinsect goes around the direction that you want to. And if he's still going too high, aim it even lower. Like, I am not kidding. I've shot monsters aiming it like this, straight to the ground. Okay? And it works. So just keep that in mind if you're fighting a monster like, dude, my Kinsect keeps going to Narnia for whatever reason. Aim your camera down. And yes, I am holding the controller in a very awkward position to be able to be pressing triangle and right trigger and aiming the camera down with my left thumb, which is one of the things that I need to talk about. Like I said in another video, about the control scheme for this weapon feels really, really bad. And I'm saying this as somebody that has played the weapon in the previous games, and I always thought that the weapon feels really great to play, and in Wilds, kind of doesn't. But we've gotten the pole jump, we've gotten the charged attack, which is one of the new things that it's gotten. From the jump, you can also gain access to other moves. So like again, jump is right trigger and X. If you then press triangle, this is going to do your kind of like vaulting move. This move will be different if you have all three extracts. It actually spins the glaive around, does a little bit of damage. But for the people wondering, no, you can no longer pogo vault off of monsters, because that's what you used to do. You used to jump and then you press this, and then if you hit this last attack on a monster, you'd be able to jump back into the air and repeat the attack 3 times. Can't do that anymore. That has been completely removed. The other option that you have while you're in the air is if you press circle, it does this. Again, if you have your 3 extracts, your character actually spins and does a lot of damage. The idea of these moves is, while you're in the air, if you just want to deal a little bit of damage while you're in the air and kind of like position yourself, because this is mostly a positional attack, you're going to use triangle or Y because you get a lot of forward momentum, right? And you can even extend that by pressing X while you're in the air, because it gives you a little bit of an extra boost, and then you can do this. This gives you a lot of distance, and it will be even more distance if you happen to have the white extract. So our red extract ran out. Let me go ahead and recollect that. And then you can also do it to just reposition yourself with X, and then press circle, and you do this downward strike. So the Y or triangle buttons, these are going to be for positioning. And then the circle button or the B button is going to be for actually dealing mounting damage and scoring a mount. That's kind of like the usual idea for these moves. Again, this is just a starter guide, so you'll understand more of the intricacies of the weapon when you start playing it yourself. But the overall idea that you want to go for is this, okay? Y and triangle positioning, or circle and B for mounting damage. And then the other thing is you can charge your chargeable attack, this one, while you're in the air, and you can do the triangle attack and then interrupt that by releasing your charge attack. This takes quite a bit of practice, and it doesn't feel particularly intuitive. I am well aware of that. So jump, triangle, hold circle, release, boom, and you can do this. And it, you know, you clear a lot of distance, you deal some damage, and then at the end of it, you also do the thing that shoots out your Kinsect to attack. Okay? That's kind of like the basic stuff. Now we need to get more involved with a much more important aspect of the Insect Glaive, which is focus mode. Unlike most weapons, the Insect Glaive is much more dependent on focus mode than pretty much anything else on the game, at least from my personal experience, because focus mode actually changes your moveset. So you get the focus mode by holding down on L2 or left trigger, and then if you start attacking, your Kinsect actually follows up on your attacks. And it automatically gets the extracts that you need. If you notice, whenever I do this, he is collecting an extract and giving it to me. So if you're attacking a monster and you attack on the multiple parts, the Kinsect is going to be following up with your attacks, so long as you're doing focus mode by holding down the left trigger. This also works for circle attacks, and even the charged circle attack. Even though the charged circle attack, the Kinsect doesn't really follow you. But, you know, if you just do regular circle attacks, the Kinsect will follow up as well. Now, the thing is, you can be charging the circle attack while doing focus, strike, triangle attacks, and then releasing it and getting the charged attack. And you can also charge the circle attack while you're in the middle of a circle attack animation. So you can do this, start charging it, and then releasing it. But that is going to be an essential part of your kit, from what I'm understanding of the weapon up until this point, to be able to keep charging this attack while you are doing other things. So in the middle of the air, doing your thing, charge the attack, get to the ground, attack the monster. You do your thing that does the little Kinsect marking thing, charge your attack during it, finish it, boom, unleash on the monster. It's going to be a lot of this, and, you know, that is going to be one of the issues with the controls, because, like, how am I expected to charge this attack and then turn the camera, which you'll have to use like your left thumb, but then you can't move, and then still be able to be attacking with other things. It's a little bit wonky, and I think they might have to do maybe a little bit of a revision in the controls. I don't know. All of you Insect Glaive mains out there, tell me how you feel about the weapon. I'm actually really curious. I was talking with Dark Hero, who's been playing the Insect Glaive quite a bit, and he actually told me, oh, I straight up made a custom profile on my controller on PC to change the way that the controls work just to make the weapon a little bit more playable, which is an interesting way of looking at things, right? But one of the things that I would actually recommend specifically for the Insect Glaive is we have an option here in the settings, which is under controls. We have the aim focus mode controls, and we can change this setting into toggle mode. And what that's going to do is whenever you press down on focus mode, it's going to maintain it without you holding the trigger. And I think that this is maybe a setting that you will want to consider if you're an Insect Glaive main, because most of the time that you're attacking, you'll want to be in focus mode so that the Kinsect follows through with your attacks. At least in my opinion, for this weapon, this is a really useful thing. For all the other weapons, I'm still a little bit indecisive how I feel about it, but for the Insect Glaive, it definitely feels way better to just play it with focus mode always on. Now, one of the things that you got to keep in mind is that if you play other weapons besides Insect Glaive, your muscle memory is going to tell you that in order to do Focus Strike, I have to press L2 and R1, and that's going to mess you up because that's going to sheath your weapon instead. When you're already in focus mode, all you have to do to do your Focus Strike, which is a very important mechanic for the Insect Glaive, is press R1. You don't press L2 or the left trigger anymore when you're doing the Focus Strike. You just press the right bumper or R1. I forget if I said L1 or R1, but it's R1. Okay? And the Focus Strike is also going to be something incredibly important, because if you land a Focus Strike on a wound, that is going to give you all of your extracts back. It's going to shoot your Kinsect at the monster, and the monster is going to collect all 3 extracts from that wound, and on top of it, it deals a ridiculous amount of damage. I don't know if it's bugged, but at some point, I had these things hitting for like 178 damage, and I was like, what? That's crazy. But again, this is a beta, so I don't know if it was a bug or if it was intended, or maybe I busted out a bunch of wounds when I did it and there's a bonus damage there. I don't really know what happened. But the overall idea with this is actually going to be that you're going to be doing a special attack that is called Spiral Slash, that I can't show you here because it requires you to have all 3 extracts. But basically, this is the attack that follows up on this charged attack right here, which is your charged circle attack. Once you finish doing this charged circle attack, if you have all 3 extracts, which by the way, we just lost our red extract. If you have all 3 extracts after you do this attack, you can press circle or B again, and your character will actually spin into the air and deal like this crazy move that puts out a bunch of colors with your Kinsect doing a bunch of attacks and stuff. And the Kinsect is going to collect some extracts, but it's not going to collect all of them. At least most of the times that I've done it, it doesn't collect all of them. And what happens is, by the time you're done with the attack consumes the extracts. And this is where a very specific thing comes into play that you usually only want to do, at least from my experience, this Spiral Slash when the monster has an open wound. Because the gameplay loop kind of becomes, okay, I have all of my 3 extracts, I'm going to charge this attack a bunch of different ways while I'm attacking the monster, right? You're always doing this and trying to charge the attack and weave it in between your other regular attacks. And then, when there's an open wound, you go up to the monster and you do the Spiral Slash, which you guys will see me do once we fight the Shatacabra. And after doing the Spiral Slash, as you are falling, you're going to do your Focus Strike on that open wound, and that is going to allow you to collect all 3 extracts and continue the loop of playing the weapon. And playing it like that, it actually feels really good. I know that a lot of people that like Insect Glaive, they miss the whole pogo stick action of the helicopter move. But to be honest, I think the weapon actually feels really good. The biggest struggle is actually the controls. But anyways, that's enough yapping out of me. I think I've pretty much said everything that I wanted to say about it. You guys know how to do the pole vaults, do all of that stuff. Oh yeah, the other thing is, with the pole vaults, the circle and triangle attacks also use the Kinsect. And that is another one of the reasons why I really like having focus mode with the Insect Glaive, because it just, everything seems like it functions better. Like, just the way that the weapon is designed to work feels like focus mode should always be enabled. But again, play with that setting, see if you like it like this, see if you don't. Right now, we have a Chatacabra to go beat up on, and hopefully I'll be able to explain some of these mechanics a little bit better with Chatacabra, because I will have all 3 extracts. Okay, so as I'm getting ready to hunt this Chatacabra, because this is on a different save file, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the option I told you guys about with focus mode right here. We're going to go ahead and toggle it to toggle mode, because I want to be able to play it like that. So whenever you're on a mount with an Insect Glaive, one of the things you can do if you press to attack is your Kinsect gets thrown out. So you can actually collect extracts with your Kinsect while you're on the run. So keep that in mind. If you're chasing down a monster and you're like, oh, I can actually go ahead and collect some extracts while I'm doing that. So that'll be pretty good. Had my Kinsect get a little bit lost there. Poor bastard, so slow he can't even catch up to my Sacred. This flying Kinsect. Now, the other option, as per usual, is if you press triangle and circle or Y and B, your character is going to dismount with a mounting attack. Deals a decent amount of damage, particularly mounting damage, which is pretty good. And you can also jump off and do the regular attack like that if you have extract. I wonder if you even have enough time to jump off, hold down circle. It's going to be a little bit rough. You might be able to if you have wide extract, maybe, but I wouldn't recommend it. Usually, when you chase a monster down, if you're playing solo in particular, one of the things that you'll want to do is take that time to perform a sneak attack like we always do, or you just jump onto the action with triangle circle, which is pretty good. So, let's go ahead and hunt this sucker. Come here, Sacred. So we're going to start things off as per usual with our little sneak attack. I'm just going to run right up to him and hopefully he won't notice the fact that I'm going to jump across and yep, there it is. Bam! That's a decent amount of damage right there. We actually have a wound almost open. Kind of makes me want to go straight for the wound. But for now, as you can see, we're beginning the engagement, right? So turn on focus mode. Wait, didn't I set this setting? What are you doing? LT to toggle mode. Oh, I have it on advanced settings, so you're going to do that there. Press LT to toggle mode. Boom. Now we're on focus mode, and whenever we do our triangle attack or our circle attacks, Insect goes out and starts collecting extracts for us, which is pretty good. Sometimes if you just want to really get one, like the head, you can just manually get it by holding down right trigger, pressing triangle, and then calling back your Kinsect with circle. Like I told you guys in the tutorial, so always remember you can still use manual mode, even though, you know, you're kind of incentivized to just wail on him like this. And we now have all 3 extracts, and we opened up a wound. So what I told you guys is that we can go ahead and start thinking about doing the spiral slash. And the way that I personally like to do it is like I go up into the air, I charge my circle, release the circle, and once the animation is over, press circle again, and it does the spiral slash. I missed because the Chatacabra is kind of small. And we actually don't have a wound because I busted up the wound with that attack, which kind of sucks. Puts us in a really uncomfortable position, but it's a good time to go ahead and do our charged Kinsect, which is triangle and right trigger, or Y and right trigger. Like I always told you, make sure to aim it down. Use your left thumb if you have to. Well, maybe not that low. And now actually got us all 3 extracts, which is pretty good. Now I do notice that the wound on his left hind leg is actually open again, so we're gonna go for another spiral slash. So we're gonna start attacking and holding down on circle to charge our thing. I'm actually gonna be using the left thumb. You have to do some really weird grips on your controller to make this work. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead, start attacking, and then we're gonna release the circle charge. Oh man, I got hit. Second. Eesh. Work with me here, Chatacabra. Alright, and then press A. And now we're in the air. I was going to try and get in the air, but I missed. But basically you do your focus strike, and then you get all of your extracts back again. And now, you can do all of this again. You can also do it from the air, by like approaching the monster like so. Oh! Dude, this Chatacabra just not making things easy for me, huh? And now press circle again. And now from the air, we're going to press R1. That is going to shoot our Kinsect, give us back all of our extracts again. This is why I like doing it with wounds, right? And the other thing is, because you're an Insect Glaive, basically you can kind of like abuse mount damage. So we can score mounts fairly easy. And that's what I'm going to do. We now have a mount. And I already made a video on mounting if you guys want to know how that works. I'm not going to explain that in this video, but obviously we're going to open up 2 wounds, because what that's going to allow us to do is I'm going to finish on this wound right here. I'm pressing down on R1. Which is a really cool animation. Now, we're going to jump, charge our circle, do a diving wyvern, and then go back into spiral slash. And I was going to try and get another wound, but apparently I broke the wound while I was doing it. But hey, we were able to actually collect all 3 extracts, which is pretty good. But that's kind of like the overall gameplay loop that you're shooting for. You're basically going to be running around, yeeting your Kinsect at him while you're attacking. You're going to charge your circle attack, do it as many times as possible because it does a ton of damage. You're going to follow up with this, the Spiral Slash. And once again, you'll notice, oh man, there's no wounds. That's so annoying. But wait, I have an Insect Glaive. I can do what I want. Although, not having red extract is really bad, so I'm going to go ahead and... listen, brother. I need the extract from your face, if you don't mind. Thank you. Because red extract is just really good to have. Now, he's moving, so we're going to go ahead and get our Sacred. And I know that a lot of people are probably going to say, oh man, this weapon looks way less impactful than the other weapons. It's mostly just because I'm spending a lot more time explaining how the overall flow of the weapon goes, because it's so much different than it used to be, and you have to take focus mode into consideration. If I was just focusing on killing Chatacabra and not, you know, talking you through the whole process, it would be way faster. Once again, we're going to go ahead and score our sneak attack. And that gives us a wound, so we're actually going to go ahead, pop that wound. We also opened up a new wound. I'm going to go straight into the Diving Wyvern. And I messed that up, which was terrible. But we can now go, and we can also get this. Did I not hit? Yeah, I did. And we get all extracts again, which is great. But this is kind of like the gameplay loop, right? And now since there's no wounds, I'm going to go ahead and abuse Mount again, because... we can actually abuse mounting damage. It's just he's so small. Chatacabra, why are you small? He's doing his best, poor guy. And again, so am I, and I'm failing miserably. Oh, we have an open tongue. That's another wound that you can kind of like get right there. Oh, we have a wound up. So, as you guys know, once we have a wound, we're going to go straight into our charge attack. Into the... ooh. Come on, come on. And by the way, if you're not playing with focus mode always on, for the charge attack you have to hold focus. For the Spiral Slash you have to hold focus. We do have 2 wounds there. We're going to go score on those. We can also score it from his tongue. We now have all extracts again. Now we're going to charge up our attack. There's already a wound up, which is fantastic for us to do Spiral Slash again. Let's go. Follow up on that Chatacabra. He actually got to run twice. I'm not playing particularly well. It's just, this weapon is very good at moving super fast and doing all of these things. And the way that I tend to play, I always like the aerial style of the Insect Glaive, and I keep going up on the air. And it's not really the best thing to do. You want to stay on the ground a little bit more this time around, particularly if you're fighting a Chatacabra, right? Let me actually drop this on him, speed up the process a little bit. Oh no! I messed it up. Well, you still get the sneak attack though, so... Spiral Slash. So many open wounds. Kerpow! Yeah, that hurts, doesn't it? And as you can see, we actually ran out of extract. I mean, we didn't run out. We were able to collect some during that Spiral Slash. But if you notice, you know, we're missing the orange one. So we're going to charge a Kinsect, and actually it's going to go right up his butt. That's also going to give us the green extract, give us a little bit of health. And do remember, you can also bring out your Kinsect, have him attack a specific part of the monster. He's going to keep attacking that. And the cool thing is that in this particular Kinsect deals blunt damage, because Kinsects can do different types of damage. So if you put him on his head, we would actually be able to get KOs as well, which is pretty fun. But yeah, at this point, you guys get the idea. Let's put him out of his misery. We've been torturing him a little bit too much with our bug, just like going ham. I think he's about to go to sleep. You gonna go to sleep? Let's go ahead and extract. Wait, where's my bug? Bug, where are you? Bro, I think my bug is lost.
I made eye contact with it.
We lost our bug. happened? I don't have a bug anymore. There he is. Poor guy. He's so slow. Listen, he's doing his best, okay, you guys? He's doing his best. You know, he's not on his best days. He's out of shape, so he's a little bit slower than the other insects. All right, let's put this Chatacabra out of his misery, shall we? Oh, we're not in focus mode. There it is. It is what it is. Like I said, I think the weapon is a ton of fun, but it is potentially one of the weapons that I struggle with the controls the most. And this is very much a wild specific thing. Because like I said, I used to play quite a bit of Insect Glaive during World and Iceborne, and even a little bit during Rise and Sunbreak, and even other people that main the weapon have told me, like, yeah, I definitely feel that the controls are kind of wonky. But yeah, that's something to be talked about in another day. If you guys enjoyed this video, if it helped you out in any way, hit the like button, subscribe, notification icon, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe, peace out.